Izuku arrived home and parked the car in the garage and then got out of the car and helped Fuyumi with her papers and took them up to her room to leave them on a desk, and there he took off his UA uniform and put on blue jeans, a black shirt and white tennis shoes, and then went down to wait for Fuyumi, who went to get ready, and in that Izuku began to talk to Rei. Rei, he's on the right track, at this rate he'll be able to overcome everything Enji did to him in a few more weeks. Izuku, I'll help you too, Rei-chan, although most of the work will be done by Hiro, he can fix anything. Rei, thanks Izuku, and I will also thank Hiro when I see him. Izuku hugged Rei and she hugged him back, enjoying the warmth before separating as they heard Fuyumi coming down the stairs. Izuku, seeing her, stared at her for a long time since she looked beautiful in the white dress she had on along with that black ribbon on her waist. Fuyumi, I'm ready Izuku. Izuku, come on Fuyumi. Izuku took Fuyumi's hand and then they both went to the garage, and there Fuyumi got into the car as well as Izuku, and he started it and then left the garage and started driving through the streets. Fuyumi, I'm very surprised you have a license, I don't know anyone your age with one. Izuku, nervous yes he. Fuyumi, where are we going? Izuku, pensaba que tu lo decidirás, la anterior mitako elegir a mi así que esta vez escoges tu. Fuyumi, I know, there is a place I like to go a lot with the girls. Izuku, that's bad. Fuyumi was guiding Izuku on how to get to the place, and when they arrived Izuku got out of the car and opened the door for Fuyumi, who was a little embarrassed by the action, but then they both entered the place, which was a foreign food restaurant. Izuku, wow, I didn't know this place was in the city. Fuyumi, neither do we, one day we found it by chance and since then we come here once a month. Izuku, I like this place, it's quiet. A waiter came to take their orders, so Fuyumi ordered American food and Izuku ordered Mexican food. Fuyumi, I didn't know you liked Mexican food. Izuku, yes, I like it a lot, it's very spicy and I love that. Fuyumi, hee. They both started to talk a little, and after a few minutes their food arrived, so they started to eat calmly and in silence until they both finished and Izuku paid for the food and then left the restaurant, and Izuku opened the door for Fuyumi and she entered, and then Izuku closed the door and he also got into the car. Izuku, where would you like to go now? Fuyumi, I don't know, I'm out of ideas. Izuku, hee, I guess we're not very good at dating, are we? Fuyumi, it seems not hee. Izuku began to drive calmly through the streets aimlessly until Fuyumi pulled him by his shirt and he turned to see her looking at an ice cream shop. Izuku, do you want some ice cream? Fuyumi, yes, it's my favorite ice cream shop, please Izuku. Izuku, okay, let's go get some ice cream. Izuku parked the car in front of the ice cream shop and then they both got out and went to the ice cream shop, and Fuyumi began to look at the flavors with a sparkle in her eyes since she truly loved ice cream. Izuku looked at her with tenderness since she looked like Eri the first time he took her to an ice cream shop. Fuyumi asked for her favorite flavor and after it was served. Cashier, that would be $5. Fuyumi was a little surprised since she didn't think it would be that much, and then she got nervous about how Izuku would react, but she was surprised again when she saw that he paid for it as if it were nothing, and he ordered a milkshake to his liking, being double the price of Fuyumi's, and then they both returned to the car and Izuku opened the door for Fuyumi, and after she entered she closed it and he turned around and entered and left the milkshake in a cup holder. Izuku, anywhere else you want to go? Fuyumi, no one, it's getting dark, it would be best to go back home. Izuku, it's okay. Fuyumi started to eat her ice cream a little faster, but Izuku stopped her. Izuku, don't worry, I know why you do it, and don't worry, I'll drive calmly, enjoy your ice cream, after all it's your favorite. Fuyumi, thank you Izuku. Izuku started the car and began to drive calmly and without increasing the speed so that Fuyumi could enjoy her ice cream. After a few minutes they both arrived at the house and Izuku left the car inside, and then they both got out and Izuku took his milkshake and took a sip while he entered the house looking at Rei watching a news program. Izuku, we're back Rei. Rei, welcome, how did it go? Fuyumi, very good. I had a great time riding in the car. Izuku, whenever you want, I'll teach you how to drive. Fuyumi, really? Izuku, sure, I have a lot of free time. Fuyumi, thanks Izuku, I'll take that into account. Izuku gave Fuyumi a kiss on the forehead and then received a text from Hiro telling him to go to his house. Izuku, okay girls, I have to go, tell Eri not to sleep too late. Fuyumi, are you going to be back late? Izuku, I think so, but I'll try to come back before you go to sleep. Fuyumi, Okay, take care Izuku. Izuku, I will do it, don't worry. Izuku went to the garage and took his motorcycle and then put on his helmet and left the house in the direction of Hiro's house, and when he arrived he knocked on the door and waited a few moments until Hiro opened it. Hiro, come in, there's something that might interest you. Izuku, I hear you. They both entered and Izuku closed the door and then sat on the couch and had Hiro give him a canned beer. Hiro, apparently an idiot who, because he has a small army and believes he is a drug dealer, wants to claim the city as his own and has already started with the coast. Izuku, so what? If he gets too close to our areas, he'll run into Hydro or Senko and goodbye to his stupidity. Hiro, well that's true, but since we're both busy with different things we haven't done the villain work anymore, me for helping mom in the restaurant and you for playing the hero. Izuku, I know, the stupid UA. I already want to leave or get expelled, but the director is stubborn. Very stubborn and wants to turn me into a hero. Hiro, well, let's give him a lift to see if he gets over it. Izuku, do you think threatening the director will make him let me go? He'll probably take double or triple care of me since they're interested in me. Hiro, fuck it, vacation is almost here. If he forces you to go back, just don't go or I'll carry out an attack and destroy the UA so that they won't want to teach anymore. Izuku, not everything is fixed with quirks. That's why I use firearms. Hiro, he uses them too. That's why the heroes don't raise him in danger, they think quirks can do everything. Izuku, well then we have to be careful of a new drug dealer who wants to come and steal our areas. Hiro, I don't want you to do anything stupid. Izuku, me? I remind you that the one here who does the most stupid things is you. Hiro, fine, whatever. Do you want to go on the race or do we just stay here drinking a beer? Izuku, I have to go, at least this way I can earn some extra money. They both left the house and got on the motorcycle to then go to the race, and when they arrived Hiro went to see how the competitors were doing while Izuku checked the motorcycle. Izuku, don't fail baby. Izuku got on the bike as soon as he saw a girl approaching in front of all the bikes. Girl, 3, 2, 1. Now. The bike started, but Izuku came out doing a wheelie and then lowered the front wheel and began to go at full speed without losing first place until one lap a competitor overtook him, making Izuku smile. Izuku, this is why I love racing. Izuku began to go faster, overtaking the competitor again and then using a small board that was placed to jump and then continue until he reached the end of the race and just stopped and got off the bike and went to where Hiro was, who was talking to a girl, until he saw Izuku, so he went towards him and both bumped fists. Hiro, how was it? Did you have fun? Izuku, something, at least I wasn't there all the time in the first place. Hiro, here you go, don't spend it all on beer. Hiro gave the money to Izuku and they both said goodbye, and then Izuku went to his motorcycle and got on it to then turn it on and go back to his house, and when he arrived he put the motorcycle in the garage and took off his helmet to leave it aside and go up to his room, and when he entered he saw Fuyumi sleeping deeply, so he just approached her and gave her a kiss on the forehead and then took off his shirt and pants leaving him in boxers and then put on shorts and a tank top and then lay down on the couch and fell asleep a few minutes later. The next day, Izuku woke up and took his UA uniform and then entered the bathroom and began to get dressed, but before putting on his jacket he changed his bandages and put on new ones and then put on his jacket and left the bathroom. Then he opened a drawer next to the bed and took out a necklace, and when he saw it he smiled and put it on. Izuku left the room leaving Fuyumi sleeping and went down to the kitchen where he looked at Rei, who was sitting eating toast with bacon while Kira was next to her eating his croquettes, until he saw Izuku come down. Rei, good morning Izuku. Izuku, good morning Rei-chan. Izuku walked over and gave Rei a kiss on the forehead and then grabbed a toast and ate it as he went up to Irie's room, and when he got there he knocked on the door and then entered since he didn't get an answer, and he looked at Irie sleeping peacefully while hugging a stuffed bunny, so Izuku walked over and started to move her. Izuku, wake up Irie, you have to go to school. Irie, waking up, I'm coming. Irie rubbed her eyes and then stretched and grabbed her uniform to start putting it on, while Izuku left to go to Fuyumi's room and knocked on the door and waited a few seconds until Fuyumi told him he could come in, and when he entered he saw Fuyumi arranging things and then looked at Izuku and gave him a smile. Izuku, are you ready, Fuyumi? Fuyumi, yes. Izuku, okay, let's go have breakfast and then go to work. Fuyumi, it's okay. Fuyumi went to the door, but when she passed by Izuku he grabbed her forearm, trying not to use force so as not to scare her, and then gave her a kiss on the forehead. Izuku, now yes, let's go. Fuyumi nodded and then they both went down and watched as Irie was finishing her breakfast. Izuku, Fine, I'll go prepare everything while you eat. Fuyumi, yes, thank you. Izuku went to the car and began to check that everything was in order, and when he was going to tell Fuyumi he saw that she had already finished, so he just took his things and gave his mother a kiss on the head and then went to where Izuku was and got into the car, leaving his papers in the back seat. Izuku got into the car and then started it, and they left in the direction of Fuyumi's work, and when they arrived Fuyumi got out of the car as did Izuku, and he took Fuyumi's things and helped her carry them to her classroom, where he entered and left them on the desk and then gave Fuyumi a kiss on the forehead and walked towards the door. Izuku, I'll pick you up in the afternoon. Fuyumi, thank you Izuku. Izuku left the school unnoticed and then got back in the car and drove to Iri's school, where he then left the car in the parking lot and carried Iri to her classroom and gave her a kiss on the forehead before the little girl entered, while her teacher approached Izuku. Teacher, okay, follow me to the address young Midoriya. Izuku nodded and then followed the teacher to the office, and when they entered they saw the principal and a lady with her husband, and Izuku alone sat in a chair in front of the couple, and next to him sat Iri's teacher. Izuku, and may I know why I was called? Teacher, Vera, Iri has told me a few times about her exploits at UA, and I must say that they are quite impressive, but it seems risky to me that Iri wants to follow her path. Izuku, excuse me? Teacher, Iri says she wants to be like her father, and that seems a little risky to me since she doesn't have the skills to be a heroine unlike her classmates. Izuku. Director, it is also worth mentioning that he does not have good control over his quirk. Several times we have had to temporarily erase his quirk so that it does not get out of control. Izuku, what is all this about? Director, well, these people are interested in Iri, they are a good family and could take good care of Iri. Izuku, are you implying that I can't take care of my daughter? Director, don't take it like that young Midoriya, I just want to tell you that you could leave the job to more qualified people since you are barely, well, a teenager. Izuku, tell me one thing, Principal. What are Iri's grades? Principal, she is very intelligent, her grades are 10 and 9, the lowest is 7, she has never failed any subject or exam. Izuku, is Iri problematic? Principal, no. Iri is a very polite and respectful girl towards her teachers and has never caused or been in any trouble. Izuku, then shut your mouth and don't tell me how I should take care of my daughter. Izuku stood up from his chair and started walking towards the door. Teacher, one last thing before you go young Midoriya, why is Iri not sociable? Izuku, Iri was tortured since she was 4 by the leader of the 8 precepts of death, and I rescued her from that hell. I was the first person who gave her affection. The first person who didn't see her as an object but as a person. So when those two pointing to the couple can protect Iri from any danger, then we'll talk. And since I found out that some of you see Iri with pity or treat her differently just because of this, then you'll see me angry. Izuku left the office leaving everyone in silence and walked until he reached Iri's classroom, and when he arrived he saw how they were about to stick gum in her hair, but before they could touch her Izuku took the boy's hand and moved it away from Iri's hair. Izuku, try it again and it won't be pretty what happens to you, understand? Izuku lit a flame in his hand and looked with a cold gaze at the boy, who was scared and nodded before returning to his place, and Izuku put out the flame and then began to caress Iri's hair, who was so focused on a drawing she was making that she didn't notice her father's threat to one of her classmates. Izuku, see you little one, I'll pick you up in the afternoon, so don't go with strangers and stay until I come for you. Understood? Iri, yes, Dad. Izuku smiled and stroked Iri's hair before leaving the classroom and leaving the school to then get into his car and turn it on to then head towards UA. When he arrived he parked and turned off the car and then got out and walked until he reached his classroom, where he knocked on the door and waited until Aizawa opened the door. Aizawa, late again? Izuku, they wanted me at Iri's school, it's not my problem. Aizawa, come in, I won't give you extra homework this time. Izuku entered and sat in his seat and then began to do the work that Aizawa had left them until he finished it. He took out his cell phone since it was the only thing that Aizawa had left him since he went to the teacher's room to sleep. Katsuki, hey nerd, can I borrow your phone when we get back from lunch? Izuku, what happened to yours? Katsuki, I got stressed and caused an explosion when I had it in my hand and boom. Izuku, what an idiot. Katsuki continued doing his work while Izuku checked his cell phone looking for something interesting, although there was nothing that caught his attention, but there was nothing, so he just turned off his cell phone and put it away and then put his arms on the table and let his head fall on them, using them as a pillow, and after a few seconds he fell asleep, completely ignoring the looks of some of his classmates. Momo, in a low voice, I find it curious how Midoriya is, he appears to be the weakling of the class, although in reality he is very intelligent and has the ability to face Bakugo without problems. Shoto, in a low voice, he's quite curious, although he's still a strange boy. Momo, well, he never wants to go out with us, and that emo attitude that doesn't remember anything is very strange. Shoto, he forgets things very easily. But he still remains mysterious. Momo, true, that's why it causes interest in several girls. Shoto, no girl would want to be with him, apart from what he did to Ashido. Momo, well, that could be up for discussion. Mina also did wrong. Shoto, well, I don't know, I just found out what Midoriya did to him. The bell rang and everyone left, although Katsuki woke Izuku up with a swear and then went to the cafeteria.